is how do you corner Mamta Banerjee? Just go through the BJP media handles and the left parties in particular.
Views expressed in this blog are hosted on my own website, are strictly personal, and do not reflect the views of any organization.
Hello and welcome, friends, to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog, where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. Today, the Straight Bat focuses on the horrific crime, rape, and murder of a young doctor that's taken place in a government hospital in Kolkata in West Bengal. This terrible crime has predictably and justifiably provoked national outrage. Think about it. A young woman with dreams in her eyes goes into a hospital as a healer. Patients go into a hospital hoping to be protected by a doctor. And if in that caring environment, a doctor is raped and murdered, what can be more horrendous? Therefore, as I said, the national conscience has been justifiably outraged and awakened by what happened in Kolkata on the night of August 9th. But remember that where there is outrage, there is also often a lot of noise, which is why I thought it is time to separate the noise from the news, fact from fiction, and indeed justice from politics, and demand accountability above all else. So here are the 10 key stakeholders, my friends, who this Straight Bat is addressed to. Without fear or favor, it's time to listen carefully to what these stakeholders have to answer for. Number one, the Mamta Banerjee government in West Bengal cannot escape scrutiny and accountability. Law and order, after all, is a state subject, and it is for the state to ensure the security of women, more so in a government hospital. A government hospital comes under the direct jurisdiction of the state government. What happens within its precincts is the responsibility of the state. The Mamta Banerjee government, therefore, cannot pass the buck on this gruesome act that took place in the hospital in Kolkata. Number two, the Kolkata police, which claims that it acted swiftly in arresting the alleged principal accused within 24 hours. Good. That's a positive sign. But there are questions which the local police must answer and cannot escape responsibility for. Who is it who allowed the hospital authorities to get away initially with their claim that this was seemingly a case of suicide and not of rape and murder? Who is it that allowed the post-mortem to be carried out so hurriedly inside the government hospital? Who is it that apparently falsified initial information to the family of the police claims that it is a victim today of a malicious media campaign? If so, why did the police not act at the very outset to counter this campaign by providing the hard facts? Who within the local police then will answer these questions that remain unanswered over the manner which in the first 24 hours there seemed to be some kind of a cover-up?
As for the vandalism that took place in the RG Car Hospital, how can the Kolkata police wash its hands of it? It is your responsibility to protect the protesting doctors. If vandals overwhelm your police force, who will protect the average citizen?
Which brings me to the third stakeholder, the hospital authorities. Clearly, they were caught unawares and clearly appeared to be trying to cover up the true extent of the horror that took place in the seminar room of that hospital. All those who failed in the hospital in their duty and were responsible in some way for a cover-up have to go. not be reappointed as principals in some other hospital as the state government appeared to do. Also, under scanner must come the appointment of civic volunteers, their connections with police, and indeed the fact that these civic volunteers are allowed seemingly to operate in hospitals without the necessary fact checks. What kind of background checks are done if such depraved civic volunteers, as indeed the accused was, can roam around in a government hospital as they were allowed to? Number four, the opposition in West Bengal. I'm sorry to say that their role has hardly been designed to really ensure justice or even basic empathy for the victim and her family. The opposition has every right to put the West Bengal government on the mat. But it is increasingly apparent that both the BJP and the left parties in particular seemingly are taking out their angst on the Mamata Banerjee government after their Lok Sabha defeat recently. Rather than seek justice for the girl, it appears that the entire aim is how do you corner Mamata Banerjee. Just go through the BJP media handles, and what one detects is a campaign to get Mamata Banerjee to step down. Are we saying, my friends, that whenever a heinous crime occurs in this country, the chief minister must resign? That's a dangerous political game to play. We need a responsible opposition, not one that seeks apda may afsar or opportunity in a disaster. If there is evidence of state complicity in large-scale violence like there was in Manipur last year, a demand for resignation is justified. Not for a crime like this, however horrific it may well be. Which brings me to the social media and the section of the mainstream TV media as the fifth player. Social media, my friends, is fueling, I'm afraid, the worst kind of rumor mongering with little care for the truth or genuine empathy for the victim and her family. Reports have been put out that clearly show a disregard for basic fact finding. Wild rumors of what exactly happened and alleged destruction of evidence are in utter disregard for the basic dignity of the person involved. How will any criminal justice system operate effectively, my friends, if social media functions in an irresponsible manner by promoting this kind of innuendo and rumor mongering? Television too must resist the temptation of treating this sensitive matter as another ball by ball TRP commentary and not allow vicious IT cells of political parties to set the narrative. Number six stakeholder, civil society. I am glad, indeed delighted, to see so many ordinary women in Kolkata hit the street to, as they say, reclaim the night. It is your right to protest peacefully, and I fully support it. If I was in Kolkata, I would have probably joined you as I did in Delhi in the aftermath of the Nirbhaya rape in 2011. But no protest, my friends, must become part of political flag waving agendas that are not genuinely interested in justice for the girl or women's safety. Who were those protesters who turned violent and attacked the hospital? Those vandals discredited the peaceful protest and have tangled issues further. The police of Kolkata must identify each and every one of those vandals and ensure that they are prosecuted as per the law of the land. Number seven, the Congress party and Mr. Rahul Gandhi in particular. Mr. Gandhi puts out a statement hitting at the local administration and the police in Bengal. He is entitled to his view. But isn't Mamata Banerjee, Mr. Gandhi, part of your India alliance? And if she is, why didn't you pick up a phone and speak to her instead of tweeting in a manner that suggests only further divisions in the opposition ranks today? Yes, Mr. Gandhi, you are Congress leader, but you are also the leader of the opposition now. Your duty, in a sense, is to reach out and ensure justice in a meaningful manner instead of confronting your own ally publicly, only it appears for political point scoring. This is no time for that political point scoring, sir. My eighth stakeholder, the Trinamool Congress, the ruling party of Bengal, and indeed the women MPs of the Trinamool in particular. And here, among others, I include my wife, Sagrika Ghosh, who is a TMC Rajya Sabha MP. Each TMC MP, male or women, need to make their voices heard, echoed loud and clear, that they stand for the victim, that they empathize at all times with the victim's family. The TMC's strength has been that it has the maximum number of women MPs. Your voice matters. You should make sure that it is heard loud and clear. You have every right to shut out and block someone who abuses you. But you must stand shoulder to shoulder with the victims and the young doctors and listen to people and the voices of people. You cannot be silent at a time like this. You must man up and listen to the criticism that your government will face. Indeed, any government when such a crime takes place in their states. Number 9 is to the doctor community. I speak now as the father of a young doctor. My son has often expressed the anguish of young doctors to me, how these doctors are even attacked by patients at times, how they have to spend long hours in hospital with little compassion or empathy, particularly so in government hospitals where the patient overload is great. This country needs a national law, my friends, to protect doctors at all times, to ensure better working conditions for young doctors and interns in particular. And while protesting peacefully is their right, and I will always support it, the protesting doctors must be careful to keep out political student wings from their protests. The left-wing DYFI has every right to protest on the street in solidarity with the doctors. But the protest must be peaceful, and the doctors must not allow their protest to be hijacked by any other political element. Number 10, and my final stakeholder, and the most important of them all, is the central figure, the Chief Minister of West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee. Didi, you are India's only woman Chief Minister, and therefore more will be expected for you in a case like this. More in terms of a demand for empathy to the family and justice above all else. Taking out a street protest and calling for the accused to be hanged in 10 days is not, with due regard, Didi, a way forward. Nor will it help to nor will it help to resort to the very street politics you accuse your opponents of. Instead, focus on day-to-day administration and governance and allow the CBI and the Kolkata police to work with full freedom and transparency to ensure that justice is done above all else. Also, please do not shut out the opposition with strong-arm tactics. That's the mistake Sheikh Hasina made in neighboring Bangladesh and paid a heavy price for it. Allow the opposition space to dissent, else they will use every opportunity to try and bring you down by means fair and foul. No, you don't need to resign as your opponents would like you to, but you do need to show that the state will put women's safety as a top priority, and which is why you need to walk the talk as you are under the scanner. As I said, you need to respond with empathy to the family and a fierce sense of justice, fast-track justice if possible.
I am very clear in my mind. Whether it is a young Dalit minor girl who's raped and her body mutilated in Muzaffarpur in Bihar, or whether it's a young middle-class doctor who's raped and murdered in a government hospital in Kolkata, we must call for justice, irrespective of who or which government is in power. Think about it. That was the straight bat.